Ladies and gentlemen, introducing my R32 Nissan Skylines. New to me, RB25. Incredibly grateful for the opportunity. Man, the universe has been working out in such mysterious ways lately. It's just been super overwhelming. But what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new to the channel too and you want to hit the subscribe button, that would help me out immensely. Again, another warm, friendly welcome to the R32 Nissan Skyline's new heart in RB25, but not just any RB25. We will go more in depth in this video, so there is going to be a lot of talking, unfortunately, but please bear with me. So some backstory to those who aren't up to date with what happened with my R32 Nissan Skyline. I was cruising with a new setup, not doing any pulls, not doing anything crazy or stupid. Was just cruising at about 65 miles per hour when the motor went boom. It was devastating. The next day, had the Skyline towed back to Eaton Customs for them to do a more in-depth examination. They checked a lot of things, said it looked good. They popped off the rocker covers and immediately saw that the exhaust side camshaft at the cap had snapped clean in half. Whether it be the material Nissan used in the early 90s or improper reinstallation of the head from the shop, I'm not too sure, but cross my fingers that there isn't any more internal damage to the head, like the valves bending and or the pistons grenading, because again, the RB20 is an interference motor. So of course I had a plan B just in case the RB20 head had grenaded itself. I remember my buddy Melvin told me last year that his buddy Javier, who participates in Formula Drift, had a fully built RB20 head that he would be willing to sell me. Hit him up last week to make sure he still had it. He said he did. Javier and I talked. He gave me an offer. I gave him a cash offer. We met in the middle, we agreed, and I asked him like what was done to the head. And it turns out, this is not a fully built RB20 head. This is a fully built RB25 head, built at Rob Brokerage, who specialize in RB motor parts, built for Dan Brockett. If you don't know who Dan Brockett is, he is a drifter, racer, and one of the owners of GK Tech. So this head has a lot of sentimental value. And when this motor was running, I was told that it made almost 700 horsepower, which is pretty achievable with these RB25s with like the proper feeling and turbo, of course. Going in depth with the fully built RB25 head and the future parts I would like to put on it, right off the back we have adjustable cam gears. The company is Each. I haven't heard of them, but if they withstood 700 horsepower, they gotta be of high quality and must have durability. In terms of the internal of the RB25 head, we have Tomei 272 Pro cams. Javier said this had one of the meanest chops he's ever heard on an RB, so I'm incredibly stoked to hear this once it's all said and done. The valves, springs, and the retainers are all Super Tech. I have heard of Super Tech and I know they are of great quality, and also the head had all the machine work to accept all of the new parts. The future parts I would like to put on the head, of course, source on new studs, all new OEM gaskets. We are going to be putting a Greddy front-facing manifold on here. I'm incredibly stoked for that. I can still buy it new for like 1,200 bucks. In terms of the turbo side, honestly, I think I'm just going to utilize the T3 manifold and still run my Garrett 3071R. I mean, there is honestly a lot of potential for me to run a top mount setup, 6-boost manifold, sell my Garrett 3071R and build a G series, either a G25 550 or a G30 660. A lot of potential here with a lot of time. Now the RB25 block is a completely different story. It did throw a rod, but after further examination from myself and the previous owner, Javier told me it just needs to be bored out ever so slightly. So first things first, when we're ready to tackle on the full assembly, is take the full assembly to the machine shop, have them thoroughly inspect the head, making sure everything is mechanically sound and copacetic. Definitely get everything cleaned out and cleaned up to the best of the machine shop's ability. For the block, same thing, get the inside and out cleaned up to the best of the machine shop's ability, bore out the block to accept the next highest piston up. In terms of the internals I want to put on it, I was told Wiseco and BC, so I will do my research, and once the block has been bored out, I'll know what size pistons, rods, and bearings I can put in. I do need to source a majority of what is pretty much missing, like the engine mount brackets. I'll buy Nismo motor mounts. We gotta source all the hoses, the RB25 water neck. I do have the oil relocation kit in the garage. I'm pretty sure there are a handful of parts that are compatible between the RB20 and the RB25 that I could utilize, so that'll definitely be nice. It did come with a new water pump with all the hardware. Super grateful that it did come with a Nismo N1 oil pump, so it has a more efficiency, higher capacity. Came with the billet aluminum drive gear. Also, we do have the RB25 crank, which has been modified, rebalanced, and lightened, and we do have the extended neck here so it can accept the N1 oil pump with the drive gear. Some more pluses here. We have a Ross Toughbound harmonic balancer. I believe this underdrives the motor, so it'll work less and make more power. Thank you again, Javier. And I did also examine the pistons too, but they didn't look too damaged to me and they look super clean, so I really don't know what happened. Going to have to buy a new oil pan. Also going to be rebuying the oil head drain kit I sold a couple months ago. So it goes behind the head here, of course, like the freeze plug out, tap it in, run the AN line, down to an AN fitting, which will be tapped into the oil pan. One of my concerns right now is sourcing an RB25 transmission. I know my exit hybrid single clutch will work, so that's awesome, but the 25 transmission might be a little tricky. I was considering CD009, but honestly, I'd much rather just run the RB25 trans because it is not as bulky as the 350Z transmission. But that is pretty much it, honestly. I just want to get this motor built, bulletproof, and swap everything in. Also, I will be needing the RB25 wiring harness and everything else in between. I'll definitely hit up wiring specialties for that one. So I honestly don't know the time frame with the RB25 in the means of completing it and swapping it in. Until I know the full extent damage of the RB20, I'm not gonna make much progress on the RB25. If I just need to swap over the camshafts from the 25 to the 20 since they're compatible, I am definitely going to do that, and then we'll just build the RB25 on the side. But once it's in the machine shop, that's when we'll get the ball rolling, of course. I also did buy the new project car for this channel. It's also going to be my new daily, and that car will be landing from Japan to Long Beach, California in either mid or late September, hopefully. So between building a motor and building a car, it kind of has to be one or the other. I'm grateful for my salary and the money I make, but at the end of the day, I still got bills and a mortgage to pay and support myself. But that's honestly it. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. Again, the universe has just been working in such mysterious ways. It's really just overwhelming, but just gonna keep the momentum going, keep the positivity going, and keep manifesting good things in my life. But my camera is dying, guys, and I got work to do. But thank you everybody so much for the continuous love and support. And if you're new to the channel and want to hit the subscribe button too, that'd be awesome. And remember, aim high, drive low. We'll catch you next time. Take care.